Dearest listeners, book babes and book bros, welcome to Book Babble. I'm Tanya, and my co-host today is Hannah. Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hannah. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here again today. And our guest star of the hour is Allie. Allie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I'm Allie Bloom. My debut romantic suspense novel, Love Struck, comes out in March.
I am waiting for this. I love romantic suspense. It's like my favorite genre.
Me too.
Um, so I'm like in line waiting on this, and I can't. Congratulations. So March needs
Thank
to
you.
hurry up.
Thank you.
I am
Um,
totally with you. I love romantic suspense.
it's the best.
It is.
All right. Well, Allie, Hannah, are you all ready to babble?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. 5 minutes on the clock, and Hannah's going to start us out.
Okay, my favorite question. Who are your auto read and auto buy authors?
Anything by Rosa Lucas. I love her books. I think you know, I don't read too much spice, but she's like my biggest exception because she does it so perfectly and is always, I think her stories are really funny and well told, and then all of it is just perfect, I think. So yeah, anything Rosa Lucas.
My question I always start out with is, well, okay, not always, but often, is what is your inspiration when you're writing characters? Like, do you pull that from real life, from yourself? Who inspires you?
I think both of those things I like to pull from real instances or events that have happened in my life, but also I think just parts of myself. All of our personalities are so complicated, so some of the maybe aspects of myself that, greed or like things that, you try to keep away from, I will channel that for, my villains or those types of people. Or just I really like to fragment my personality so that I can really relate to those characters, and I feel like it helps me write them better.
I love that. I've never actually heard anyone refer to it as fragmenting,
I haven't either.
and that just put things into perspective like really well for me.
Like all of our personalities are so complex, and if you divide it, I feel like there's so many different ways you can analyze it and make a character more
Yeah,
relatable because, these are all human emotions that everyone experiences.
you're absolutely correct. Yes.
I really like that. What's the best and worst writing advice you've gotten?
I think the worst, this isn't bad writing advice, it just wasn't good for me, and that was to try pantsing and writing as you go. And I know that works for a lot of people, but when I tried it, I just found myself getting stuck halfway through the story because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, and it led to just a lot of stalling on my end, and I ended up not working on that project just because it just got too jumbled in my brain. And so with Love Struck, that was my next project. I decided to get more organized and plan it, and I felt that actually helped me stay much more productive. So I guess leading into the good advice I've gotten is just writing and kind of treating it a little bit more as a job. Because for me, if you just wait to write when you get inspired, there may be like long stretches where I don't get anything done. But I found that if I stay organized and I plan and do some more plotting, it's easier for me to get even a little bit of writing done every single day because I kind of already know the general direction I'm going to go in.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. All right. So next question for me is, um, I just lost my words again. What is going on with me?
We just had
I
a big holiday. It's okay.
Yeah, so I always love the creativity behind titling books. Where did you like how do you figure out what you're gonna name your book, title your book, or your project, whatever you're working on?
For me, I always enjoy a good play on words. And Love Struck, the center of the story is it's a woman who ends up getting involved with her patient turned victim after a hit and run. So, he is struck by a car, and so love struck. That's kind of how I landed there.
That's
That's good.
clever.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's all about a hit and run. So, yeah.
I love
Very
it.
clever.
When did you start writing Love Struck?
I'd say maybe 2.5 years ago. It's been in the works for a while. I'd say I actually wrote the book itself fairly quickly. The first draft was completed, I'd say, in about 3 months. But then the editing and rewrites and stuff like that took me a really long time.
And I know that you had talked about the best advice and the worst advice you've been given, but what advice would you give to an aspiring author?
I'd say similar to the advice I was given about being organized. The biggest thing is you just have to write the book. And for me, the best way to do that is you just have to make yourself do it at times. And even if you're not feeling inspired, sit down and write something because the first draft is always going to be messy. It's going to be sloppy, but you're building the skeleton of your story. So you can go back, you can improve things, remove things that weren't good. Just go and make yourself write and get the book done.
Amazing. I have no idea if you all just heard that, but literally right at the same time that this one
That was
went off,
perfect.
my dog started barking, so I jumped.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I just heard the music.
Literally right at the same time. All right. Well, Allie, thank you so much. You made it through our 5 minute round and you did phenomenally. Like you literally right at the buzzer. So great job.
Thank you.
This, as always, will go on our social channels. The full episode's going to go on YouTube and Spotify. So we're just going to keep chatting. I wanted to kind of continue this conversation we had just started about how drafts, like do your first draft, it's messy, and then you had mentioned, 2.5 years in the making um, for Love Struck. Can you walk us through like what all that entails? What
Mhm.
writing a book really is? You do the draft and it's pretty easy to get all, well, not easy, but that I feel like is the easiest part is to write.
Mhm.
What comes
Yeah.
after the writing that's like challenging or that more people need to know about?
I think the most challenging part is you just have to really be honest with yourself. You can't let pride get in the way of progress because there's going to be a lot of moments where you're looking at that draft and you don't want to have to change it because let's say this section is 10,000 words. That's a big chunk of your story. And to delete that, which I did, it was my original ending. I deleted that. That was like a real pain to have to press that button because I'm gonna have to completely rewrite an entire new ending and make up for that new word count that, I took away. So honestly, you just have to be honest with yourself and also listen, be open to feedback. If people tell you that maybe this tone isn't getting across the way you want it to, you can't be thinking that no, you just don't understand the story. Like I'm the writer. I know how it's supposed to sound. Some people I think can get in their own heads and allow their pride get in front of progress and it doesn't allow the story to improve and really you got to let that go.
So you said you had to delete 10,000 words and redo all of it?
Yeah, after my first draft, I go through on my own and read the book and make my own edits. And that's me just doing, basic cleanup. And then when I reach the ending, since this is completely different than what my actual ending is, originally I wrote in like that pregnancy trope at the end. And I just felt like that was like a rushed fix to the situation and I did not like the way it went. But I stuck with it when I was writing the first draft, just so I can get the first draft done. Then I took, 2 weeks away from the draft so I can come back with fresh eyes. And I was like, I hate having to bring my word count down so low, but I know that it's for the better overall if I were to just remove this and completely go in a different direction.
Wow. I mean, that is something that you have to be honest with yourself about. So, yeah, I mean, that's perfect advice.
Yeah.
And then like so what comes after all of that? Like how did you have beta readers? Did you have ARC
Mhm.
readers? Like what was that process like?
Honestly, because I was so new, I didn't like, I know some people they find beta readers. I don't know. I felt like me, I wasn't really sure how to find beta readers and I wasn't sure how to find trustworthy people. So I only recruited people that I knew personally within my life. So I recruited family members and close friends, and I had them read it and give me feedback. And I do feel like that was still very helpful because even, let's say, like my husband, he doesn't typically read romance, but his feedback was very helpful because he's looking from an outside perspective. He's not used to this genre. So he's able to point out things that's like, oh, does that really make sense? Or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I did use beta readers. That was very helpful. I'd say the biggest challenge, though, with getting beta readers, and I'm sure many other authors can relate, is just the reliability of beta readers. A lot of people get excited to hear that you're writing and they offer to help read your book, but then they don't finish, or it's like they're taking forever. And I'm not just talking about weeks, but I'm talking about like months, and you're just like, please, I need feedback. I'm trying to like get this written. So
Ah.
I'd say the biggest challenge with getting beta readers was just actually making sure they were following through and reading it all and giving me their feedback.
Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna do a quick shameless plug here.
I was just going to
I
say that.
so I do I own Iris PR or Iris Indie it's the Indie Readers Influencer Society. Iris Influencer Society. So we do a lot of ARC reads, beta reads. We manage
Mm.
teams. So if you need help with that, Allie, just let us know.
That is very good to know. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind for my next book.
Yeah.
I'm doing
And I
also a
mean,
shameless plug that I love alpha and beta reading too.
yes,
Okay, good.
Hannah's great at it.
I know for my next book, I definitely want to go more, I'd say like the traditional route of finding people who are actually in the book community because I
Mhm.
feel like that's easier. If they're already involved in books, it's because they love it. And,
yes.
there's more of a reliability there because you know that they're actually going to read the book and follow through.
Yep. All right. Well, I've been yapping the entire time, so I'm gonna let Hannah take a minute and talk.
I'm curious, I'm hearing some unexpected. What is the most unexpected hurdle with writing and publishing um, Love Struck?
So I'd say the beta reading is definitely one of the top ones, just because I felt like that was very frustrating because it's also kind of isolating because you feel like you want to publish the story and then you hope people will be as excited, but in reality, no one's going to be as excited for this project as you, the writer, is going to be. So I'd say that was one of the unexpected hurdles. Another unexpected hurdle would definitely be the price that goes into everything because not only do you need to pay for editing services or artwork or cover art, these are all stuff that you do need to pay for because at the end of the day, even though people say don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge, if you pay money to make something look good, people are going to be more inclined as opposed to something that if I were to try making it on my own, I know I wouldn't do as well. So I'd say the cost was another unexpected hurdle. Um, Something I think I'll be more prepared for with my next book. Luckily, I am being published with a small press, so I didn't need to have to pay for the editor or cover this time around. But initially, I was planning to self-publish, and so that was pretty daunting.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned like cover art, all of that kind of stuff. What kind of research goes into finding those resources? Like, how do you decide what person or company you're going to go with for that?
Honestly, so before I had gotten signed on to this publishing house, when I thought I was going to self-publish, I had actually commissioned a different book cover than what is currently being shared. And I found this artist who is very talented through another author. And for me, I just feel like there's a lot of scammers out there, especially when they're trying to sell author services like art and stuff. And I only wanted to go through someone who could be recommended and word of mouth, someone who has personal experiences with them. And I followed this author and I really loved her covers. She has a trilogy and I just thought they were beautifully done. And that is how I got connected with the artist for Love Struck.
Very awesome. And then I'm gonna yap again.
Yap all
Go
you
for
You
want,
it.
yap away.
Go for it.
you also mentioned, your next book. What's on the horizon for you? What do you have planned?
So I'm really excited about this one because it's not a romantic suspense. It's going to be a contemporary romance, but it's actually going to be the start of a series of standalone interconnected stories. And it's the first one is going to be a workplace contemporary romance, takes place abroad. And I'm just so excited for it. Definitely. I'm trying. I'm about 75% of the way through the
Oh
first
my
draft.
gosh.
And I'm trying to follow my own advice and just forcing myself to write, but I am finding it a lot more difficult this time around. And I think it's, I'm pregnant right now and I have a toddler, and it's just I finally get time at the end of the day and I'm like, I should write. But instead I just end up laying in bed, scrolling TikTok or watching TV.
Well, I mean, you are growing another human, so
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, definitely. I'm just so excited about this project and I want to write it, but it's like right now I'm reaching that dreaded ending where it's always hard to wrap up the story, I guess.
yeah.
So I think I've just been procrastinating a little.
Have you ever lived abroad, or what kind of research went into that? I can't
I
even
haven't
imagine.
I haven't lived abroad, but my husband and I enjoy traveling a lot. So I'm trying to write about places that we've personally visited. And then there's actually some stories in there that were inspired by our travels, things that we've experienced together. So
I love
cute
that.
things that he's done. I'm like, I need to pay homage to that in this book a little.
Can we get a little sneak peek about where the story is located?
Yeah, so it's located in London.
Mm.
She's going
Ooh.
there. She leaves Connecticut to go to London for her dream job. And, it's kind of like the boss employee trope. I always love a good workplace romance.
Mhm.
And then a big portion of the story, like a significant portion, takes part in Paris during a work trip. So
Ooh.
very
Ooh.
excited. And I've also really enjoyed writing this one because there are stakes in this story and there are some kind of heavier topics, but it's nothing compared to Love Struck. Like Love Struck is much more tense and anxious feelings in there. And yeah, so I'm this one has just been so much more fun to write.
What's your favorite trope to write?
Yeah.
Um, so with Love Struck, actually my favorite is definitely workplace romance because even with Love Struck, workplace romance is in the story because it's a nurse and her patient. But I love yeah, workplace romance, rivals to lovers. Those are my bread and butter.
I think you need to just like create your own
Love that.
company, like in this fictional world, and go through each employee as they fall in love with another
So
one.
I already actually have like the three books plotted from for the series. Not plotted, but like I know the general story of each of those books. And it's going to be following like a group of friends, but all of them have
So
to
cute.
go abroad for a certain reason.
I
So
love
it's
that.
like a big aspect of it is finding love and traveling.
I love that.
That's
It sounds so
amazing. I
romantic.
know. So different than Love
Really
Struck,
excited.
it sounds
I
like.
know, and it's like because I've always growing up, I've always loved thrillers, and so I've loved romance. I combined that with Love Struck, but then I was like, I also really would love to just write something kind of different. So I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna stick with romance, but some will be contemporary, more feel good. Some will have the elements of suspense because I do have another book that is actually like a third of the way written, and that one is another romantic with elements of suspense in it. But I got more excited about this next project, so.
How do you like, I always ask this to people who write multiple stories at a time. How do you keep them straight, especially when like you're writing romance for both of these? Like, do you ever get them confused? Like, how do you stay organized?
I think it really just depends on my mood. Like some moods will bring me to this other story where it has more elements of suspense in it. And I'm like, okay, I'm really craving being immersed in something with more suspense and the thriller aspect. How can I put together this puzzle? And then other times I'm just like, no, I'm more in a feel good place. I feel like writing this. Um, So I think it's more of the mood writer in me going and just switching between the two. I don't really confuse them because the stories are pretty different. Um, but yeah. And I'm not writing them close together. It's not like I'm writing one story and can immediately switch. It's more like this week I'm
Okay.
writing this, and then the other day I'm like, oh wait, I have a good idea for that other story. And then I'll switch to the other story and then spend a few days on that. So it's like
Okay.
I'm not able to make the switch that fast, but it's like if something pops into my head, I'm gonna go to that other story.
I'm like one of those people who I feel like if I'm writing it and like working on two different projects, I'll accidentally throw in like character traits from the other project on accident, like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
then it'll
no,
get
that makes sense.
get funky and
Yeah, this is why Tanya and I are readers.
yeah. Like I can write short. I've written short stories before, but long stuff I can't do it. And I think it's
Mhm.
because of that specific thing where I'm like pulling from the wrong places.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's why it's important for me to stay organized because, like, at the beginning of each book, I do like my little book Bible where I have the descriptions of characters and stuff like that because I also get confused a lot. But with that, if I'm writing and I'm like, wait, what's their last name or what is that specific description about them? I could just go to that page and then the information is there. So it's like my little encyclopedia. And so I think that
That's
is
so
another
smart.
way that I'm able to avoid confusion is just because I already get confused. I'll forget something and then I'll give them a different job title like halfway through the book. So that's why I have to have it organized. Otherwise, it would be really chaotic.
Yeah, there's so many details like hair color, eye color. Some
Yeah.
authors are really descriptive about their scents.
I have
I'm
that in
like,
my little encyclopedia that I was
yeah.
describing. So I have to do I, do a mini backstory of them, like a one sentence, because what is significant about their character, their physical description, their sense, because, you want to make sure you're staying true to what that character
Mhm.
is throughout the story. And it's easy to mix that up or throw something in that's random that someone might be like, huh, I wouldn't imagine that they smell like that.
That just reminded me of, I think I was in high school or maybe college. I had to write this creative writing piece, and I guess halfway through, I like changed a character's name completely.
I,
If I
I've
had
I've done that with Love Struck, and I caught it during edits. I didn't just change the character, I changed the gender too. So
Oh.
I made it was a male attorney. He wasn't a significant character, but then halfway through changed to a female attorney somehow. And I was like, okay, wait a second. I'm confusing myself. I need to go back and like rewrite this scene because they weren't a significant character. I think
Mhm.
that's why it was easy to forget about them.
yeah, it was like a teacher or something for me, and this is why I'm a reader, not a writer. Like Hannah said. It's
We're
just
really
there's
good
so
readers.
many, yes, there's just so many things that go into writing and staying
Mhm.
organized. So, like, kudos to you for being able to do it. That's impressive.
It really
Thank
does.
you. Yeah, everyone has their own process. I mean, some people they thrive off, not having a set plan and just seeing where the feelings take them. Just for me, I know I get too distracted too easily. I have to have it like written out for me. Otherwise, it just
Mhm.
won't get done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a 4-year-old, so I can only imagine a toddler and being pregnant. Like, I'm sure you have to put it down and come back to it all the time.
Yeah, I'll sit down and I'll get 50 words in, and then my son is crawling on me and trying to shut my laptop, and I'm like, okay. And then the mom guilt sets in, and I'm like, I can't be ignoring him and staring at my computer. Get off and
Oh.
play. So yeah, there is definitely that battle. I try to do it when he's napping, assuming I have the energy.
How do you
That's the trick.
manage that? Like, how do you manage? So I don't know your, work situation. So I'm like, but how do
Mhm.
you manage work and parenting and writing and all of these things?
I am grateful that I get to work from home. Um, it's a regular 9 to 5 work from home, but because it's remote, it does give me more flexibility to be with my son, get some stuff done around the house. I actually am leaving my job at the end of December just to be a stay-at-home mom, because
Wow.
with me expecting a second one, I was like, I can't work from home and take care of two kids. No, that
Yeah,
that
that's
will
a
not
lot.
work. But honestly, a lot of it was just I'm grateful for my husband and having a supportive partner because he does not have a regular Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. He has a really weird schedule. So there's times where he's at home for a couple weeks at a time and he's able to be stay-at-home dad. So with his unique schedule, he makes sure to give me dedicated writing time and we'll, take our son out and stuff. And he also helps hold me accountable if I say, I want to get this done by this date. I need to get, this amount of writing done each day. And he'll be like, okay, did you get any writing done today? Okay, we can go to the park. Do you need to get some writing done? So honestly, I think a big portion of that is that I have a very supportive partner who makes it possible because being a work from home mom and an author, if you don't have a support system, I can see it being extremely challenging.
Yeah,
We love a supportive king.
we do. Is he the MMC in any of your books? Have you written after
A
him?
lot of them, yeah. And it's so funny
Mm.
because my my mother-in-law, I base a lot of Henry in Love Struck on my husband. And
Mm.
so my mother-in-law was reading it. She's like, yeah, you mentioned honey brown eyes. And I was like, I obviously know that's my son. I need to skip over this scene because it was like leading into something a little more spicy. She's like, yeah, I just had to skip those scenes because I'm describing her son. And I'm like, so sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they know. So
Hilarious.
just if you feel tension building, just skip over it. Please don't. You don't want to read that part.
I can't wait to read about your husband.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so funny. Oh, okay, Allie. So right about now is when we start to wind down the episode and give you the space to, announce anything that you want to talk to your readers about or, just address anything. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. I guess I would really love for you guys to check out my debut novel. It's going to be available on KU. So if you want to wait until it comes out so you can read the book for free, I highly suggest checking it out over there. And I guess a quick description of my book, because I didn't share that. Very surface level. It's about an engaged nurse whose life unravels after a date night, after her fiance drunkenly runs over a jogger on their way home and covers it up. And she, by chance, happens to build a connection with this victim turned her patient while he recovers in the hospital, forcing her to question everything and really decide, does she need to tell the truth or does she need to keep this lie in order to protect the life that she has worked so hard to build? So if that sounds interesting to you guys, I would highly encourage you to visit my page.
I'm
I'm
sold.
I'm sold. Sad waiting for
A
this.
little bit of a
Say
love
less.
I also really love when characters' lives just unravel because it's like life imitating art, imitating life type
It
situation.
it
And
really
like
is.
Because
Yeah,
like our lives unravel too.
literally right now,
totally.
mine is
Yeah.
unraveling. So
I was just
give me
thinking
all
that.
the unraveling.
I was thinking-
Oh, well, Allie, thank you so much for joining us. We had such a great time. We actually went over our episode, recording limit that we typically do. So that just speaks to how much we enjoyed having you on. Um, and I hope you have the best success with your book launch in March. Hannah and I will be lining up to grab it.
Yep, can't wait.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much
good
for having
day.
me.
Of course.
Bye,
Have a good
Allie.
day,
All
y'all.
right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.